According to Joe Cowley and Brett Siegel, the basketball world expects the Chicago Bulls to make moves at this trade deadline, but should we believe them? And the Pelicans make their asking price known for Trey Murphy if they're going to move him, even though there are reports that they are not anymore. We're going to discuss all that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 podcast network in the entire world. I am joined, as I am every single day, by my brother in arms. That's Pat, the designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And Pat, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. We got an article from Joe Cowley, and Brett Siegel also followed it up in his article as well, as that the Bulls are, like, teams around the league are expecting the Bulls to actually make moves. And the part that stands out, especially in Joe Cowley's article, is that reportedly from league sources, the Bulls are a lot more reasonable with their asking prices. We did hear last year, Pat, kind of after the trade deadline, teams didn't really like working with the Bulls and AK because of how strict he was on exactly what he wanted back. Seems like there's more fluidity. Seems like he has more realistic kind of targets, goals, and what he wants back in certain trades. Does that lead you to think that maybe something actually gets? I know we've both been on the side that more than likely nothing major is happening at this trade deadline, but how are you feeling?
Listen, a report that AK is listening, is shocking to me because he hasn't heard fans in over 5 years. Like if that is true, that he's actually willing to work with teams on the asking price, especially with some of the things that we know could possibly be out there and some of the teams that could come calling, I think that's a change that we've never heard from AK. And so there is something there, maybe there actually is fire with this smoke, and you don't just actually get over there to the smoke and it's just him smoking a cigarette saying, I'm not making any moves. Like that. We've never heard a team that it feels like under AK that actually is not only willing to make moves, but is open to working with the other team. Because remember, it was always young player, asset. That was his thing for everybody. And everybody was like, no, we're not giving you a young player or an asset. Like you don't have leverage.
No, we're not giving you, bro. We're not giving you that. You're not getting my fruit snacks out of my lunchbox. You're not doing it.
For you to punch me in the face. Like, I'm not doing it. So I think that it's a surprise to me when I saw this report the other day. I think it's one that actually does speak to possibly moves getting done, and maybe even the Bulls being willing to take an L on a player. I mean, at this point, I don't know if I'd call it an L, but an L on a player where we know AKC's value in him, like Nikola Vucevic.
Well, I mean, but also I will say this. In Brett Siegel's, he pointed out that it's still unsure whether the Bulls are looking to make a small tweak or a major shift, which that makes sense. And then we immediately, about an hour or two later, hear that the Bulls are aggressively shopping Patrick Williams. So it's like, hey,
yeah,
we hear that things may be changing, but like, are they really? Because it's like, oh yeah, AK's being more aggressive and reasonable with the asking price. Who's he aggressively shopping? P. Will. Oh, okay, yeah. All right.
That's the equivalent of me aggressively shopping my opportunity to be Rihanna's next baby daddy.
I mean, listen,
I wasn't invited.
What I said before, bro, is like you can aggressively shop a turd, but nobody's gonna want. Like you can be the most aggressive turd shopper if there is, but nobody's buying that, bro.
I mean, if we being honest, the turds have more value because technically you can sell manure to a farm, and that is needed. That is needed. So there's a lot of value for turds out here, dog. If we being honest, there's more value in turds than there is in Patrick Williams.
Headline: per Chicago Bulls Central, turds have more value than Patrick Williams. We may get a note from Nick on that one. You guys, AI said you guys said nerds 15 times. I mean, turds 15 times on the podcast. What's that about?
Yeah, hey, you get what you get on this show.
Then the moment he listens to, Patrick Williams, that makes sense. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
100%. That is exactly what they would say back, bro. It'd be like, oh yeah, P. Will, that guy sucks.
But all right, so as far as the the fact that they're aggressively shopping, the questions in each each that we're hearing is that it's still kind of unsure whether the Bulls want to be buyers or sellers at this trade deadline, Pat. Like you said, AK's always been somebody that's been hesitant to take a smaller step back to have the longer term step forward, the vision of that.
Yeah.
That could change, which could put them in a position of being sellers. Or, per what you've been saying and others, like, are they there? There are a lot of names available. There are some star names that you could think, some functional names out there. When you think of all this, how the trade market's going, are you leaning more towards buyers or sellers for the Bulls?
It depends on what you're buying. If you're buying something that fits with Josh Giddey, buy.
Yeah.
You paid him. He's here. He's going to be a fixture piece of your team. There's no reason to not help him out with actually winning games because he's actually a really, really good player. Like, he's somebody who offensively does a really good job in being efficient. Who would have thought the 3-ball would have come on the way that it has, right? He gets everybody involved. He makes other players around him better. You can take chances on players now that you maybe wouldn't have been able to take chances on because you didn't have a point guard who actually made players better when he's on the court. When you look at the plus minuses on and on-off numbers of lineups that have Josh Giddey in it and Josh Giddey out of it, everyone gets better when Josh Giddey is in the building. Like, literally, as Josh Giddey walks in, Patrick Williams goes, "Oh, maybe I'm one step above."
No.
That's what
Still
you
not
thought,
P. Will.
buddy.
Still not P. Will. Still not P. Will. You can pick anybody else but P. Will. Still not P. Will.
But it's just, to me, like, I think that buying does make sense because you have a very key piece that you've invested long-term money in. Now, does that mean go buy something stupid? I wouldn't buy Zion Williamson, like reports have talked about. You know what I mean? Like, now Zion Williamson may buy an OnlyFans chick, but I wouldn't go down that path either.
Even if it's just for expirings, you wouldn't buy on Zion for expirings?
The expiring sound good, but it doesn't sound like the path the Pelicans want to take.
No, I agree. It seems like they have kind of moved off it. There was some talk initially if it was going to be for expirings, but it seems like now they want more than that. So we'll see. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to get. I mean, if I get Zion for pennies on a dollar, sure. Like, that's a different conversation to have, and especially, again, like, pairing him up with Josh Giddey. But, you know, like, I think that there are moves that it doesn't make sense for you to leverage or go all in your franchise with, where there are others that make perfect sense. So I guess it, like I said, it depends on what the move is that they want to make. But being a buyer doesn't seem like a bad option when, again, you look at the team you have. You got a bunch of role players ready to go.
Let me ask you this, Pat, and just we'll kind of put the cap on this one. Of the names that are available, as far as that we've heard for being buyers, Sabonis, AD, to the point of Jonathan Kuminga, we already talked about Sabonis, potentially Daniel Gafford, like Nick Claxton, those guys. Do any of those guys? They're all different level of deals, but do any of those guys interest you for the Bulls to make between a medium to a big swing on?
They're all price value, but Nick Claxton is an interesting name to me. Again, pairing a guy that can run the floor like that with Josh Giddey, I think, would really help you. Sabonis feels like a run back, doesn't it?
Sabonis just feels like you're getting a better version of Vooch.
Yeah.
Like, and I will say this: Sabonis
with a legit point guard.
And Sabonis also is better in double big lineups than Nikola Vucevic. He actually stays around the rim. He doesn't float out to the perimeter as much, and he's a better rebounder. So it's similar style, but he's better in a lot of the areas, of course, now where Vooch is. But it doesn't solve anything for our biggest questions. It just gets you a younger version, but you still have the bigger questions on, all right, where are you going to get your rim protection at? But like I said, because Sabonis is better in double big lineups when you play with Miles Turner, maybe you feel like it gives you more flexibility there.
Sabonis to me is one where if you're AK, now again, like Josh Giddey's out right now, but do you feel like the real version of that team was the version that you saw with Lonzo, that you had with Zach and Vooch and DeMar? Because if you feel like that was real, that's a team that wins in this NBA. It is. And now you have more three-point shooting. Does Sabonis coming here with Giddey give you that same kind of output offensively? We know it's not the same. I don't think you need
to look at that version of the team. I think you just have to look at last year. Josh, when Vooch was still good last year, him and Josh Giddey were actually really good in pick and roll. Like They were really good. We went with basically as close to this version of the team. We just had Lonzo instead of Isaac Okoro. The Bulls went 22-5 with Vooch playing really good and Josh Giddey playing really good. So if you want to look at that sample size and say, well, we've seen a version of this work with Giddey and Vooch when he was actually good. Now this was placing with Sabonis. Maybe that is what they're looking at. It's just I got some questions about the contract. I still got questions still about rim protection.
About the contract. Was it 50?
46, I think. We're close to it, yeah.
Jesus.
So it's that question on you. You better be damn sure that that's something you want to lock yourself.
$48.6 million next year, which is crazy. I thought that jump was going to be a lot more. That's not bad.
I mean,
it ain't good, but it's not bad.
It's basically 2.5 times Vooch's contract, but I get what you're saying.
For 2.5 times of the player Vooch is right now, though.
Also,
you're getting your value. You're getting your value on that.
Also very valid, but we'll continue the conversation. This time we're going to be talking about one of a target that me and Pat talked about earlier in Trey Murphy, now kind of knowing what they may be asking if they do eventually move Trey Murphy. We'll talk about all that right after this. For that, though, I got to talk to you guys about DoorDash. The season's heating up, and DoorDash has a way to keep fans in their bag the whole way through. Whether you're watching the highlights, the tunnel fits, or you're just your favorite player, DoorDash makes the entire season more fun because every player has their bag. And with DoorDash, fans have one too. DoorDash keeps the snacks stocked, your gear fresh, and your watch party vibes absolutely on point. There are nights when your team stresses you out. Let DoorDash become your post-game therapy. Sometimes you just need your dessert now. Those late night interviews hit, and suddenly you need chips at midnight. DoorDash is built exactly for that. If the group chat says pull up, DoorDash makes sure you show up prepared, snacks, cups, and even a phone charger for that friend who's always at 2%. Why do I feel like that may be Kid? Is Kid's battery always low? It feels like Kid is one who doesn't charge.
You know what? That's a spot on call. That's not bad, actually.
From the tip-off to overtime, stay in your bag and order with DoorDash. Get snacks, drinks, gear, whatever gets you through the season, delivered right to your door. DoorDash, in your bag, all season long. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. You know what I love about the DoorDash ad, Pat? Is that, remember at the beginning of the season, it was anytime a player drops 50, you get such and such. There are so many 50-point games of the
they got off that.
And we got to switch this up, y'all. This is happening way too often.
Listen, what I love about the DoorDash ad is it's saying without saying. So if your friends smoke weed, DoorDash. like, bro, that's literally.
Hey, it's still Jack in the Box for me, bro.
If your friend hits you up at 10 o'clock at night to come hang out, who's doing this?
Listen, if somebody's hitting me up at 12 a.m. to come hang out, it's not one of my friends. I can tell you that.
Oh, she a friend, all right. Oh, baby, you got what I need.
With that, Pat. So this article is a couple of days old. Now we're gonna mix it just to be fair and be up. So yesterday we did hear that the Pelicans are kind of not really taking calls on Trey Murphy anymore. They want to see what Zion, him, Jeremiah Fears, Derek Queen, what that kind of core can do. They want to give it, the rest of this season and maybe to the trade deadline. But we do kind of have if they do move Trey Murphy, we do kind of have an idea of what their asking price is going to be. 3 firsts and a young player. How do you feel about it, Pat?
Done. What you need? How you need me to get them there? I'll walk them there. I'll drive them in the back of a caravan. Done.
Let me ask you. Okay, so first. So that would be even more than we gave up for Nikola Vucevic. And Trey Murphy III is understandably not even a player that is accomplished as Vooch was at the time that we traded for him. Are you then that in on what could happen with Josh Giddey, Trey Murphy III? You probably keep Io in that case as well for even more defense. Are you confident that with Modest is a team that can make some noise? Because to me, if you give up 3 firsts, you better be sure that you can at least be a playoff team after giving up 3 firsts.
What you're seeing with Trey Murphy right now and how he's playing, and again, this is just the raw numbers. And also on the court, he's balling out, but they're not winning very much. The Pelicans are a bad team, which is kind of why it is interesting that they're going. We want to see what this core looks like together. Like 40 games in, and they've played a good chunk of these games together. I think Zion's missed a little bit, but not much. It looks bad. I don't know what to tell you. It looks bad. With a usage rate less than last season, you are seeing Trey Murphy give you more output on the offensive and defensive ends. Now, of course, right, you shoot the ball a little bit more. The percentages look a little different, but you are still seeing him be an efficient scorer. You are seeing him being an option defensively. I'm not going to say he's a threat as of yet, but he's a very good option to have defensively. I think that if you gave him more opportunity with a player like Josh Giddey offensively, you could see him stay around that 20, 22, 23, 24% range of usage and see his output uptick and become more efficient. And he gives you something defensively. And he's a solid rebounder at that. Like, those are things to me that speak to young star in this league. Doesn't mean, and by the way, he's done this, right? Looking at last season, he was producing very well and starting to come on the scenes with DeJounte Murray for 30 games there. Yeah. And so you kind of saw like, okay, with a point guard, this young man could be really good. So you got that sample of it as well. We haven't seen DeJounte Murray as much. The team is kind of
haven't seen him at all since January.
Haven't seen him at all since those first 30 games, right? Like, the team has a different feel to it. Jeremiah Fears is kind of figuring himself out in the NBA Chicago product. But I think Trey Murphy is a player who's right on the cusp of becoming a really, really good player in this league. And you have the pieces around him to where he doesn't have to come here and become that guy. That is a situation where you then can go, we just want a defensive big. If you've got Modest, if you're not giving up Modest, right? I would assume Modest is staying. I would assume Iowa's staying. You're probably sending Kobe White in that situation. Your 3 first-round picks. You got a player that can play better than almost everybody that's on your team right now, in my opinion. And you got to find a solid big to stand in the middle and protect the paint. That's a lot easier to find than going out and finding a player in the draft that Trey Murphy has become.
Yeah, because here's the thing. If Trey Murphy, if that scoring that we've seen from him, like you said, keeps up with Josh Giddey, at that point you're getting close to 50 points per game just from your backcourt, right? So then even if you have a big that's like basically like my offense is basically catching lobs from Josh Giddey and Ayo Dosunmu in transition, I think that you have enough offense. You have offense at that point with Modest as well, taking a step offensively. So, I mean, I get the vision. I'm just the concern that I have, and I know when you texted me about it off air, you thought I would be completely against it. It's just I'm not completely against it. It's just you better be damn, and you better be willing, because the thing that we saw with AK when he went out and got Zoe and DeMar, he never made that next move that team really needed to get that defensive four next to Vooch. Yeah. You better go out. If you're going to give 3 first-round picks for Trey Murphy, to me, at that point, F those picks, to quote somebody. You got to F those picks, and you got to, at that point, use whatever else that you have to get that defensive big. It has to be you don't have to do it at this trade deadline, whether it's in the offseason or whatever. You better go get that defensive big, because now that's your squad. That's your team.
And listen, by the way, you've still got Modest Buzelis on this team, I would assume, who's developing.
Noah's probably going to go on that trade.
That's okay.
No, I'm not saying that it's not okay. I'm just saying that you don't have Noah.
Here's the thing. Can I supplement Noah Essengay as one of the picks? Because technically he is a first-round pick that you haven't seen much. We know New Orleans loves a young player that is already banged up. So, to me, I think this makes perfect sense. I think it gets you a player that, well, when you look at, and again, I'm not saying that he is this player, but when you look at other players around the league that are having the output that Trey Murphy is having right now, they're usually around the 30 to 35% usage rate. Trey Murphy's doing this with 20. That's the kind of player you want to add to your team that fits a role and fits in perfectly, but can be that guy that you put the ball in his hands at the end of a game and goes and gets you a bucket. Like, that's the perfect kind of player for what AK's vision of this Josh Giddey-led team is going to be. I don't understand. Like, dog, you would have a tough time getting me not to offer the first round pick.
Yeah.
Almost said 4th round pick. Like, I think it's that kind of, like, it feels like exactly what you would have gotten if you just traded a first-round pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves, or I'm sorry, to the Memphis Grizzlies and Cedric Howard. It feels like the exact kind of player you would have ended up getting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, here, like I said, I'm not completely out. Like I said, you just better at that point. You're in
you
win now mode.
Sure. It's all in.
It's win now mode. Like, you are officially in win now mode if that's what you're doing, and that's perfectly fine. But then you better start making the moves that win now. Because to me, that's similar as For example, that's similar to the Knicks. I'm not saying the caliber, well, to a degree, how they're viewed. That's similar to the Knicks going out and getting Jalen Brunson. They got Brunson, and then they were like, nope, Brunson is exactly who we thought we were paying. Now we're going to keep making the moves that we need to the sub. But the Bulls are on a kind of a shorter timeline because you've already paid Giddey. You'd be paying Murphy at that point in time. You'd have to pay Io in the offseason, and then you go out there and make sure you get your defensive big.
It almost feels like how he's played lately. And again, this has been over the last month and a half. He's been good all season, but you've kind of seen them feed him a little bit more. Doesn't he almost feel like he's got like a little MPJ in his game offensively right now with actual defense?
In watching Trey Murphy, Trey has legit every offensive bag that you could want. Like there's some games where he's a better shooter than others. Like sometimes his shot, but that's what scores. But like I have not seen a game where I'm like, oh, Trey Murphy can't do this scoring wise. He can. Yeah. He has the total package scoring wise.
It's an obvious move to me. I would love to see it. And I'll be honest with you, like it's such a layup move. I think it's one of those moves where AK has to make it interesting to the Pelicans. Like if the Pelicans are out on this, find a way to make it interesting because this is the player that you've been looking for, that you've been missing. Yeah. Like how he has played this year has been perfect for what the Bulls want to do. Oh, by the way, you're adding him to a team that's just hovering around 500. You might actually make the playoffs this year. So there's that as well, AK. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. We got to keep this conversation moving along because talking about a Michael Porter Jr. type player, we get to play Michael Porter Jr. tonight. Is he playing?
Yeah, he's playing.
Okay, yeah, we get to play Michael Porter Jr. tonight. So we got to talk about that coming up next. But first, I got to tell you guys all about FanDuel. Fridays already feel different during the basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the game tips off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour, your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. The timing is perfect right before the game, right before the weekend starts. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat, before we get up out of here today, the Chicago Bulls are taking the court against a Brooklyn Nets team that has already beat them once this season. How you feeling coming into this game?
We still got a losing record versus losing teams, don't we?
Huh?
Don't we still have a losing record versus losing teams? I guess we are a losing team.
Yes, we have a losing record against losing teams still, yeah.
I think they lose, though. I don't feel good coming into this game. It's for the reason that we talked about, right? Like, who do you have that's going to maintain your the expectation of the output that we saw in Houston? Brooklyn's a team that can put up points. Say what you want about them. The Bulls give up the 5th most points in the NBA right now. And while, the offense has kind of exploded over the last couple of nights, the Bulls usually get pretty shaky versus teams that you should be able to go out there and score against. So I think this is a tough matchup. I don't think you have anybody to guard MPJ. You know, he always likes to go off on the Bulls for passing him up, and he wanted to be here. Didn't he have like a 47-point game versus us when he was in Denver or something like that? Just crazy numbers. Like I'm concerned going into this game tonight, and I would love for the Bulls to surprise me because a Friday night win would be a perfect start to the weekend of Bears coverage where we're going to have a Sunday night win. You already know, baby, Bear Down.
Yeah. I mean, the Bulls and Bears both play on Sunday, so
yeah, I'm not doing Bulls. You won't see me.
But with that said, listen, we all know this team could beat any team. They could also lose to any team. It depends on what team shows up, how much they want to fight, and what effort they're willing to give throughout the night. That's what it comes down to with this team. I hate to make it too simplified, but it is. This Bulls team, depending on how they want to show up and show out in this game, will determine if they can win or lose this game today. It just comes down to that. The Nets are going to put up points. Michael Porter Jr. is probably going to have a stretch where he scores like 12 points in like 3 minutes. Cam Thomas has cooked the Bulls before. That's probably going to happen. But it comes back down to how much this Bulls team is willing to not be lazy, to fight their own habits of being lazy sometimes. This team comes in and gives the effort and energy we've seen them play with at times. They could beat anybody, especially a team like the Nets. You got to see, this is a team the Nets are 25th in offense, 26th in defense. They're one of the worst. They're 23rd in effective field goal shooting percentage, 27th in true shooting. Even though they put up a lot of points, they're not efficient. If the Bulls come here and actually give a damn on defense, they can win this game.
And that's really 25th in offense.
Yeah.
Must are scoring way too much in this NBA, bro. I watched the Nets put up 130 points the other day.
Bro. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's the offense in the league right now is at a premium, bro. It's crazy how many points are being.
That's so weird.
That's why DoorDash changed their ad and they're no longer paying based on players putting up 50, bro.
Bro, the Denver Nuggets offensive rating right now is 122.2.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. The Brooklyn Nets are 26th in offense, 111 points per game.
Bro, it's crazy.
They did miss MPJ for a little minute there. So maybe that's what it was.
He missed a handful of games.
Not having him in the lineup will definitely hurt you. Because, I mean, bro, I'm talking about these muds ain't never seen a shot they don't like. It's like having tall Javon Carters on the team.
Bro, you remember back when Zach LaVine was on the Timberwolves and him and Aaron Wiggins used to have those like dunk contests in every practice?
Andrew Wiggins, yeah,
Andrew Wiggins. That's basically what the Nets do now with shooting. It's like they're just like, hey, who's gonna go out in the game? Like, hey, who's the first to get to 25 tonight? Let's just go out here and shoot and get it. No system, no nothing. Just if you get the ball, shoot the shot. But we'll see what the Bulls do tonight, Pat.
Just bring a bunch of women around Michael Porter Jr. He said that's his vice.
I mean, or just taxes.
That's one of the wildest lines ever, bro. He said, my brother's vice is gambling. My vice was women. I was like, did you just publicly on a podcast say your brother gets no bitch? Like, wait, what?
That's crazy.
Bro, that's a crazy thing to say about your brother. My brother always was losing money. I was always getting bitches. Wait, what?
Let's get up out of here, man.
Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love, man.
You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, and Fubo TV. Basically, anywhere you want us, you can get it. We'll catch you guys bright and early Monday morning, y'all. Peace, because you're not going to catch us Sunday. Bear down.
Bear down, baby. If the Bears go to the NFC title game, bro, you might catch me on Locked On next week with my pants on. They should let us take over Locked On Bears for one day.
Message Lauren about it.